I'm Allie.
And I'm Becki.
We're registered dietitians that are passionate about food as medicine and big fans of the ketogenic diet.
Yes, and in today's video, we are going to be taking on Jillian Michaels in her most recent anti-keto video, The Dark Side of Keto. So Jillian is at it again. We actually did a video about 2 years back debunking her first anti-keto piece that was in Shape magazine.
Yes, you can check the link below for that fun video. And today we're going to show you the bright side of keto. We'll be featuring some of her phrases or quotes from her video, The Dark Side of Keto, as Becki said, and actually providing you with functional medicine, scientific literature, and empowering information versus just naysaying negativity.
Yes, so after Jillian goes ahead and establishes her credibility by showing you a couple of books that she's read and maybe a couple more that she's written, she does say that the ketogenic diet can be helpful for weight loss and for conditions that have insulin resistance at a root, so namely PCOS and type 2 diabetes.
Now, Becki and I have talked about the ketogenic diet in many videos. We'll link some of our favorites below, but one that comes to mind is Dietitians Talk Keto and Make Keto Cheddar Biscuits. This is one that we talked about, the ketogenic diet being a metabolic state, not a yes or no food list. So most of the things that Jillian says that are anti-keto are demonizing particular processed products or high saturated fat or low quality protein. And we're here to tell you that, again, the body was designed to be a hybrid machine. So the body is wired to run on both glucose and fat or ketone bodies. And it is really the abuse of excessive carbohydrates that has robbed the human body from the ability to use ketones. So the ketogenic diet is not a new fad. It's not a buzzworthy concept. It's actually how the body was designed to work. And to add to that insulin resistance and the benefits of keto, I would state that the ketogenic diet or a very low carbohydrate diet is actually the only way to clinically reverse type 2 diabetes. There are so many medications on the market. It's $1 billion industry in diabetes, but only the ketogenic diet is the way you can reverse. Everything else is just managing the symptoms.
So Jillian then goes on to say that she can do all that and more, but without the bad side effects of keto. And she never really
doesn't define those.
So we don't even know what she means by bad side effects. And then she says something along the lines of, health really isn't that complicated. So all you really need to do is eat less and move your body more.
Yes. So she's commenting on this calories in, calories out concept, which the exercise physiology or personal trainers really like to dumb down the physiology of the human body into a calculator. I've got news for you, Jillian. We are complex chemistry equations. There are hormonal influences. There are influences metabolically based on detoxification, our microbiome, and so many more complexities. When we dumb things down to eat less, move more, we're assuming that simple calorie deficit yields weight loss results. And if that was the truth, then there wouldn't be a multi-billion-dollar weight loss industry. We wouldn't have jobs as functional medicine practitioners. And I'd hate to say it, Jillian, but you probably wouldn't have a job either.
So beyond the calories in, calories out just being way too oversimplified, we have to understand that macros actually do matter, or like she likes to call them macromolecules. So our carbs, proteins, fats, the amount of which these we consume has a big influence on our body composition.
Right. If you consume merely carbohydrates, you're going to have muscle wasting. This is going to lower your basal metabolic rate and drive body fat and more insulin resistance with the excessive carbohydrate intake and the blood sugar or glucose spikes. Also, if you don't eat healthy enough fat in the diet or are too fat restricted, you can get leptin imbalance in the body. We require fat to actually signal satiety to the brain and tell the body that it's safe in the hypothalamus. This signals the body to be able to make sexual hormones. So too low of a fat diet could actually drive amenorrhea or loss of cycle in women. So macromolecules or macros definitely matter. And in our approach, we do like restricting carbohydrates, eating ample protein to feed your body muscle mass, and also healthy qualitative fats to support that hormone balance and satiety. Beyond mastering your macros, we also see the importance of micronutrients. So beyond carbs, protein, and fat, we're looking at vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytocompounds, and then the biologically unique compounds that we see in particular foods like probiotics provided to us from fermented foods. So food quality and food content, nutrient density, and the unique properties of food as medicine in each food choice does matter.
So now Jillian's kind of being a little bit maybe judgy here on the way that people keto without really knowing what it means. So keto does not define a food choice. Ketosis is simply a metabolic state, and nowhere in this video does she actually reference keto as a metabolic state or any of its benefits or drawbacks as a metabolic state. She's really just harping this whole time on too much animal protein and too much saturated fat.
And low fiber.
Right. God forbid.
I think she's only seen one icon of bacon and eggs and thinks that that's myopically what keto is.
Yep. As dietitians who are focused on a food as medicine ketosis approach, we approach everything from a standpoint of quality. We're looking at the quality of your protein. Is it grass-fed and pasture-raised and wild-caught in the case of fish?
We're ensuring that all of your fats are coming from whole food sources. So we are recommending olive oil, which is a high monounsaturated fat. We're ensuring that your saturated fats are from pasture-raised sources as well. So yes, lard, did you know, Jillian, is actually 50+% monounsaturated? I'm sure she thinks it's 100% saturated, right. You know? And actually, when we're looking at industrialized fat, in our approach to keto, we eliminate all of those sources. So we do not do canola oil or safflower oil or, of course, soybean oil, any of these inflammatory industrialized fats, which would be seen in potentially a lower fat product and maybe not even seen in the ketogenic diet or in a dirty keto, which again is a qualitative term, not the metabolic state. So quality proteins, or clean proteins, if you will, whole food based fats, which would be like nut butters, seed butters, nuts and seeds themselves, avocado, olive oil, olives, and then pasture raised lards. And what other fats do we like? Coconut oil. Avocado oil is probably our favorite liquid fat for cooking. Our next sections that we make sure we get our food as medicine boost to support detox. So sulfur is really important for us in our approach to keto. We get sulfur containing compounds in the diet from cruciferous vegetables. These provide us indole-3 carbanols, which are going to support detoxification. We're looking at cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, all central themes within our ketogenic recipes.
And then Jillian really likes to harp on keto being low in fiber, which absolutely, again, if you're focused just bacon and eggs all day, every day, it can be. But our ketogenic approach, our clients are getting 20 to 25 grams of fiber daily. We include things like food as medicine recommendations for chia seeds and flax seeds, which are also going to have hormone supporting mechanisms. Nuts and seeds, 2 to 3 cups of leafy greens a day. Avocado is a great source of fiber.
So an example day, Jillian, you might want to take out your pen and paper and write down what food as medicine dietitians in keto eat. You know, if not fasting and doing an indulgent day, just to show you the diversity and variety in our approach, I might wake up with a delightful breakfast of a savory pork hash with a fried egg on top. This features Brussels sprouts. Can you believe it, Jillian? There's butternut squash in here, because when you're fat adapted, you can actually have starchy vegetables in a ketogenic diet and still produce ketones. So we have that with some beautiful herbs and seasonings to boost antioxidant quality. We would have maybe for lunch our summer salad, which is beautiful pulled fresh herbs on there, pickled onions, avocado for glutathione, which is the grandmama antioxidant, a really nice cumin, garlic, olive oil, lime based dressing on that. And that would go with what protein, Becki?
I would do a little bit of salmon as the protein on there, or
Sure.
some leftover rotisserie chicken would be great and quick and easy.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually even like to do it with carnitas on the
Yeah,
side, which is
yeah.
really great because it has that kind of Tex-Mex flavor profile. And then for dinner, we could do these beautiful fish tacos with a cabbage slaw that features hemp seeds in there. So you're getting the cabbage leaf as the taco base, and then we're getting a almond flour based and egg dipped kind of fried but pan-seared and baked fish with such complexity of flavor, so much fiber, so much color and phytocompounds and antioxidants that I think her mind would just crack open and spill out to consider that this could be ketogenic.
So I actually think that Jillian might be quite impressed by our 24-hour recall. In fact, she might even be closet keto. I don't know. And I don't think we would be very impressed by her diet or her 24-hour recall, especially some of the snack foods in which she is an investor that I recently found out about.
And a big fan. Miss Jillian Michaels loves pop chips, and pop chips have a lot of industrialized fats. But before we get into breaking down that processed product, which I would call a chemical shitstorm, let's talk about, Becki, her quote on PUFAs, MUFAs, and fats in general, and how she's widely misguided and seemingly confused.
First of all, that doesn't even make sense, because if you were doing plant-based keto, you would not be ingesting any animal proteins, to my knowledge, if you're doing plant-based, and you wouldn't be ingesting a bunch of saturated fat if you were eating predominantly MUFA and PUFA.
Right, because you can have a saturated or an unsaturated fat, and PUFAs and MUFAs, or polyunsaturated fats and monounsaturated fats, are in the unsaturated fat category, and you can't have both. Now again, her myopic understanding of what a saturated fat is, like I'm sure she thinks lard is 100% saturated, there are definitely fats that have composition within all three. And most fats will have some saturated, some mono, and some unsaturated. The concern is these polyunsaturated fats. So saturated fat is not the one that we have to watch out for. Saturated fats are actually very stable under high heat and less prone towards oxidative damage. It's when fats get oxidized that they can become rancid or drive inflammatory processes in your body. In fact, this study demonstrates that an intake of omega-6 fatty acids, which are more of our industrialized processed fats, can increase inflammation and obesity. Another study here looks at increased oxidative damage and actually damage to our oxidation of our LDL particles or our lipoprotein particles, which can drive more plaque formation in our vessels, driving heart disease. And this study here looks at even working in a kitchen of industrialized oils, omega-6 fatty acids, or PUFAs, as she likes to call them, can drive damage to your DNA, again, through that pro-inflammatory oxidative stress pattern.
And so going back to those pop chips that Jillian loves enough to be an investor in, they love to advertise that they have 0 grams of saturated fat in their product. But guess what the second ingredient in their product is? It's either safflower oil or sunflower oil. So back to those omega-6s, highly oxidized based on the way that they're cooked and providing all of that damage that you just talked about.
Yeah, not to mention the pop chips also have maltodextrin, which is a corn-derived filler, and the ambiguous natural flavors. So for us, as food as medicine dietitians and people that love keto, that would be a big no, because that would go into the not a whole real food category. So again, Becki and I never ask ourselves, is this keto or not? We start with the question, is this a food? And for me, this kind of product would fall into a chemical shitstorm or a processed product, not a whole real food.
So hopefully you've enjoyed this video so far, and honestly, we're really just getting started. There's a lot more ground to cover here with debunking the dark side of keto.
Yes, Jillian loves to say that keto drives the aging process, and we're going to teach you about telomeres and sirtuins and all of these complex mechanisms like endogenous production of glutathione and anti-aging mechanisms that the ketogenic diet provides next week. So be sure to subscribe to our channel so that you can stay on top of all of our weekly releases, including part 2 of The Bright Side of Keto.
Can you guys separate like 2 inches?
No, we are the best of friends and we can never be separated. Never. Sister will ever.